Sometimes in life, God doesn't move you out of a situation because He's trying to move something inside of you. You ever notice that? People say, man, I can't wait to leave this country, this city, this mess. And I'm like, hold up. What if the reason you're still here is because you ain't learned the lesson yet? See, God doesn't waste pain. He don't waste chaos. He don't waste struggle. That's your classroom, man. That's your training ground. You keep asking for comfort, but God keeps giving you challenge. You know why? Because diamonds don't come from comfort. They come from pressure. And India, oh boy, India's full of pressure. It's got the kind of energy that'll either break you or build you, depending on your mindset. Now, everybody wants a wake-up call, but nobody wants to hear the alarm. That's what this keynote is about, the wake-up call. If you're sitting there thinking, this country's too hard, people don't care, the system is broken. I get it. I've been there. But let me tell you something. Life is hard everywhere. The difference is how you handle the hard. You don't need to run from the storm. You need to learn how to dance in the rain. Because if you don't, guess what? The same storm's going to follow you wherever you go. It might look different, sound different, but it'll still be testing you the same way. India ain't holding you back. Your mindset is. You can't say you're stuck when you ain't even tried everything. You can't complain about the road when you haven't even started the car. Steve Harvey always says, you can't be upset at the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. That's real talk. Some of you are blaming your surroundings when what you need to change is your habits, your drive, your belief in yourself. The wake call isn't about leaving India. It's about leaving your excuses behind. Now imagine this every morning. Millions of people in India wake up and make something out of nothing. Street vendors, students, combers, farmers, dreamers. They all hustle. They don't have everything, but they use what they've got. That's power. That's survival with purpose. And if you can't see that kind of spirit and be inspired by it, then the problem ain't outside, it's inside. So before you talk about leaving India, ask yourself, have I really shown up here? Have I given my best? Have I learned what I was supposed to learn? Because when you grow from your struggle, when you start to understand why you were placed here, that's when the world opens up. That's when your life shifts from complaining to creating. That's when you stop asking, why me? And start saying, try me. That's the real wake up call. Before you pack your bags and point your finger at India, take a second to look in the mirror. Yeah, that's right, the mirror. Because sometimes the biggest problem ain't out there, it's right in front of you. We love to blame the noise, the crowd, the politics, the traffic, the people. But here's the truth, your environment doesn't control your destiny, your attitude does. You can stand in the same soil as 1,000 other people, but what grows in your life depends on what you plant inside your own mind. Steve Harvey always says, if you want a better life, start with a better version of yourself. That's where the mirror moment begins. Let's be honest. It's easy to say, India holds me back. It's easy to say, if I lived somewhere else, I'd be successful. But guess what? That's the same story people tell everywhere. You go to America, somebody there says, man, I'm tired of this country. You go to London, somebody's trying to move to Canada. Everybody's running from something, but nobody's trying to fix what's inside. The mirror don't lie. It shows you your truth. Whether you're showing up or slacking off, whether you're focused or just scrolling through life. Before you judge your country, check your consistency. If you can't wake up early here, you won't wake up early there. If you don't give 100% effort in your current job, you won't magically become a star overseas. The problem is not the place, it's the pattern. The mirror shows you that, and that's why most people avoid it. It's easier to point out what's wrong with the world than to fix what's wrong within ourselves. But the truth is, your reflection holds your revolution. When you change your perspective, you change your power. Look around you. Some folks in this same India are building empires. Some are turning tiny ideas into million-dollar startups. Some are coming from villages with nothing but a dream and creating global impact. How? Because they stopped waiting for the system to change and started changing themselves. That's what Steve Harvey would call mirror work. You stop saying, and you start asking, how can I make it possible? You stop saying, they won't let me, and you start declaring, they can't stop me. This mirror moment is where accountability meets awakening. It's where you stop running from truth and start building from it. When you look in that mirror long enough, you'll see something powerful staring back, potential. And once you decide to honor that potential, no border, no government, no condition can limit you. Because when your inside changes, your outside world has no choice but to follow. So don't be afraid of that mirror. Face it. Because the person you become after that moment, that's the one who can change not just their life, but the world around them. Everybody thinks the grass is greener on the other side. You look at pictures on Instagram, people smiling in front of clean streets, fancy cars, and tall glass buildings, and you start thinking, man, that's where life is good. But let me tell you something real. The grass ain't greener, it's just different grass. And most of the time, it only looks green because you're staring at it through a screen. Steve Harvey once said, if you take your same broke, lazy, complaining self somewhere else, all you're going to be is broke, lazy, and complaining in a different zip code. The truth hits hard, but that's how growth begins. You see, people believe that changing their location will fix their frustration. But the truth is, if you don't change your mindset, no country can save you. You'll land somewhere else, realize bills still exist, traffic still exists, people still gossip, and life still has problems. Different setting, same story. You thought moving away would erase your pain, but all it did was put your problems on a plane with you. Because you can't run from the version of yourself you haven't faced yet. That version will show up wherever you go. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't dream big or travel or chase opportunity, but do it with the right heart. Do it because you're ready to grow, not because you're trying to escape. If you can't handle the small challenges in India, how will you face the big ones out there? If you can't manage stress here, you'll drown in it somewhere else. Because every place comes with its own struggle. The question is whether you've built the strength to handle it. And India, my friend, is one of the best training grounds for that. There's something powerful about surviving and thriving here. You learn to hustle, you learn to adapt, you learn to push through chaos with a smile. You deal with noise, heat, pressure, and still get the job done. That's a superpower. Don't underestimate it. While you're dreaming about how easy life looks abroad, someone abroad is admiring the courage, the creativity, and the spirit people have here, because they know comfort never built character, but struggle did. So before you go chasing that greener grass, take a second and water your own. Maybe the reason your side looks dry is because you stopped nurturing it. Start working with what you have, where you are. Start growing something right here, right now. Because when you do that, opportunities don't just come from faraway lands. They start blooming at your feet. The grass gets greener when you start taking care of it. So don't just dream about leaving. Dream about living, about building, about becoming so great that no matter where you stand, the world around you starts to change color. Every struggle you face has a secret purpose. It may not look like it right now, but every late night, every setback, every disappointment is carving you into something stronger. People see India's chaos and call it a curse. They see the noise, the traffic, the heat, the competition, and they think it's holding them back. But what if that chaos is the classroom where your strength is being trained? What if the struggle isn't blocking your destiny, but building it? Steve Harvey would tell you, God's preparing you for what you asked for. You just don't recognize the training when it comes dressed as trouble. When life gets tough, we think God's punishing us. We start asking, why me? But the real question is, why not me? Why shouldn't you be the one to rise out of the challenge? Why shouldn't you be the one to prove that pressure can make greatness? You think the heat is too much, but gold needs fire to shine. India's chaos, its grind, its endless movement, that's your furnace. That's where your resilience gets tested, your patience gets built, your faith gets refined. Every time you push through, you become a little tougher, a little wiser, a little more unstoppable. See, the problem is most people want the reward without the refinement. They want the blessing without the burden. But life doesn't work that way. You can't skip the process and expect progress. The people who make it big, they're the ones who stayed in the fire long enough to learn how not to burn. They turned every "I can't" into "watch me." Every rejection, every delay, every closed door was just a divine redirection. Now, think about it. In a country like India, every day tests your patience. The noise, the crowds, the chaos. It's like life is constantly asking, how bad do you want it? And the people who answer that question with action, not excuses, are the ones who win. You learn to hustle not because you want to, but because you have to. And in that necessity, something beautiful happens. Innovation, creativity, resilience. You start to understand that success isn't found in comfort, it's found in resistance. So don't curse the struggle. Don't hate the heat. It's shaping you. It's preparing you for a version of life that comfort could never create. Because once you've faced hardship in India, nothing else in the world can scare you. You've already faced the noise, the chaos, the pressure, and you're still standing. That strength no school, no book, no foreign land can teach you. You don't need to escape the fire. You need to master it. And once you do, the world becomes your stage, because you'll carry a kind of power that only comes from surviving the storm and realizing it was never meant to drown you. It was meant to teach you how to rise. When people talk about leaving India, most of them think it means packing a suitcase, booking a ticket, and flying off to a new country. But the real kind of leaving doesn't start at the airport. It starts in your mind. It's not about leaving the land, it's about leaving the limitations. You can't run away from a mindset that's keeping you small. You have to walk out of that prison first before you walk out of any country. Steve Harvey would say, if you don't change what's in your head, changing your location won't change your life. And that's the truth most folks don't want to face. The real departure is about leaving behind the version of you that's comfortable complaining, that's addicted to excuses, that's scared of failing. You've got to leave behind laziness, fear, and that little voice that says, it's too hard. Because the moment you stop letting those voices drive you, you've already left the old life behind. You can still live in the same city, walk the same streets, face the same struggles. But now you'll see it differently. That's the transformation that matters. You don't need a visa for that, you just need a decision. See, too many people think freedom means distance. They believe success only exists somewhere else. But real freedom comes from within. You can change your surroundings and still feel stuck if you're carrying the same doubts and habits with you. That's why so many people go abroad, and after a few months, they realize they're still unhappy, still confused, still lost, because they never really left the mindset that was holding them back. You can't escape what you refuse to outgrow. Leaving mentally means shedding the things that no longer serve your dream. You've got to stop waiting for perfect conditions, stop blaming what's around you, and start focusing on what's inside you. Maybe you need to leave your comfort zone, that circle of people who don't believe in your vision, that routine that makes you forget your potential. Once you let those things go, life starts to open up. The streets look the same, but suddenly, you see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You stop feeling trapped, and you start feeling chosen. That's when you realize India didn't need to change. You did. The traffic, the chaos, the noise. They're still there, but now they don't control your spirit, because you've left the version of you that used to complain and stayed behind with the one who creates. You've stepped into a new mindset, one that says, if I can win here, I can win anywhere. That's real departure. Not escaping your home, but escaping your old limits. When you do that, you don't just leave India physically. You rise above it mentally. You become the kind of person who doesn't need to run, because wherever you stand, you're already free. If you can make it in India, you can make it anywhere. That's not just a catchy line. That's a truth written in the rhythm of this country. Every single day here tests you in ways most places never will. You wake up to noise, to crowds, to uncertainty, and still you move. You grind, you create, you survive, and somehow you find a way to smile through it. That kind of strength doesn't come easy. That's built from the inside out. And that's why, if you can thrive in this kind of environment, there's nothing in the world that can shake you. Steve Harvey would say, pressure ain't meant to crush you, it's meant to prove what you're made of. And India gives you that pressure daily. It's a test that turns ordinary people into warriors. People from the outside see India and think it's chaos. But those who live it know it's a masterclass in resilience. You learn how to deal with systems that move slow, situations that challenge your patience, and people that test your calm. You learn to adapt, to think quick, to find a way when there seems to be none. Every struggle sharpens your mind. Every hustle strengthens your heart. You can't buy that kind of training anywhere. That's survival with purpose. That's strength born out of necessity. So when someone says they're leaving India to find success, I just smile. Because if you couldn't find it here, in the land of possibility, diversity, and hustle, chances are you won't find it anywhere else either. The real ones, the dreamers who grind through the madness, know that this soil grows greatness. Some of the world's most innovative minds, biggest businesses, and strongest leaders came from this same chaos. They didn't escape it. They mastered it. They took the lessons, the grit, the energy, and turned it into global impact. That's the real victory. You see, India doesn't hand you success, it makes you earn it. And in that process, it teaches you gratitude, endurance, and faith. When you've stood in line for hours, worked through power cuts, fought for opportunity, and still found a way to move forward, there's no situation that can scare you anymore. You've already been through enough storms to know you can sail through anything. And that's the mindset that turns struggle into strength. So, don't look at India as a limitation. Look at it as your launching pad. Because the same streets that challenge you are the same ones that shape you. The same chaos that frustrates you is the same one that fuels your creativity. And when you step out into the world carrying that spirit, people will notice it. They'll feel it. Because that's not ordinary confidence. That's the kind that comes from surviving and thriving where others would have quit. If you can make it here, you don't just belong somewhere, you belong everywhere.